What is up, my veggies? My name is VeggieTales Raymond, and welcome back to another Top 12. Today we're going to be counting down the top 12 movies of 2014. Let's do this. Number 12, The Boxtrolls. Boxtrolls were an interesting film because the company that makes these movies, that made this movie, made like horror-type kids movies for their first two films, and they went to this, and it wasn't as much as a horror movie, but it wasn't bad, it just wasn't their best work. I would say it's probably their weakest movie, as of right now, but it's not a bad movie. It's got some good comedy, it's got some jokes that don't work, it's got some more that work than don't work, but it's still an okay movie, and I recommend giving it a watch. Number 12, Into the Storm. This is probably the best storm movie about a storm I've ever seen. It's got good acting, the story is an interesting setup, and the acting is good, the characters are pretty interesting, and I don't even think it's a very long movie. I think it's about a decent normal length movie. I don't remember exactly how long it was. I've only seen this movie like either once or twice. But still, it is that good of a movie, and it has an actor that I actually recognized. So that's like bonus points for it for me. It's definitely one of the best movies of 2014. I wish I would have saw it in theaters because this would have been a great theater experience. I did see the trailer for the movie in theaters, and I just saw that, thought that it looked really, really cool. Number 10, When the Game Stands Tall. Now, I am not a fan of football movies, but this movie I really, really enjoyed. I only watched it once, so it is kind of vague in my memory, but I remember having great characters, a great story. It had a lot of heart to the movie, and I love that it wasn't just, oh, we gotta do this and that and stuff like that. It's a really good movie. It's got a lot of heart to it. It's got a lot of character. When it came out, I didn't hear a lot about it. I didn't hear a lot of critics saying anything bad about it. I didn't hear anything much about this movie, but I loved it. It was such a good movie, and I'm not even a fan of sports movies in general, but this one is definitely, I'd have to say, probably the best sports movie I've ever seen. Number 9, Muppets Most Wanted. A movie I did not expect to enjoy as much as I did. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, it wasn't anything fantastic, but it was a good movie with a lot of celebrities that were crammed in at random points, and I didn't even realize it till after I watched it a couple times. But with that aside, this movie was good. It was one of my favorites. It's probably one of my favorites out of the Muppet movies. It's got good Muppet comedy. It's got a good villain. There are some stuff that I think should have been left out, but it's still a good movie, and I would definitely watch it again. And the songs in this, because you know I love a good musical, the songs in this are really, really good. And yeah. Number 8. The Purge Anarchy. This one fixed the problem the only main problem that I had with the first movie being the fact that it only took place in one house. This took place over an entire city, and that I really, really liked. This movie had great action, a great build-up to the action leading up, and it was just a great middle chapter in this movie series, and I was surprised because I heard about the first one before I ever saw. I heard about the second before I ever saw the first one, and it's a really good movie. Probably one of my favorite horror movie franchises, and maybe one of my favorite horror movies. Number 7, Big Hero 6. Now, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I thought this was gonna be one of those movies that I would eventually watch. I wouldn't see in theaters, but I did, and I'm glad I did because, one, this movie was done really well, and it was animated greatly. It's, I think, the only superhero movie we've ever gotten from Disney since The Incredibles, and that was Disney Pixar. But it was still a really darn good movie. The comedy was really good. The characters are just so energetic and likable and colorful. There were just so much interesting characters, and I really enjoyed the way this movie brought that to life. And it was just a good movie overall. I wouldn't say it's one of Disney's most amazing films, but it's one of their best in recent years. Number 6, Ride Along. This movie is just hilarious. Kevin Hart and Ice Cube are just such a great pair. You got like Kevin Hart being hilarious, and then you got like the serious point from Ice Cube, but he can also be funny sometimes, which is really good. And I also like this whole, like, he's driving around with the cop and everything, and he's also planning on going to the police academy to become a cop and everything. It's a really funny movie and a really funny concept, and I think it's one of the first movies of Kevin Hart I've ever seen, and I actually really love it because of that. And now I watch a lot of other movies that he's in. It is a very funny film, and I actually really enjoy this movie. Cause I saw it twice, and it was really good. Number 5, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Now, this movie I actually saw twice in one day. Crazy, right? But it was worth it because it was that funny of a movie. I just enjoyed it that much. But I would not say it's the best DreamWorks movie. I wouldn't even put it in the top 3. But it is definitely probably somewhere in the top 12. Somewhere maybe. But this is a really good movie, and not knowing the source material really that much was actually made the movie I don't know if it would have changed my perspective on the movie if I would have known about the source material ahead of time. But I still enjoyed it not even knowing the source material. Sure, now knowing the source material, it does take away from the source materials a lot, but it's still a good movie. It's got some good comedy. There are some jokes that are aimed towards smaller kids, but it is still a good movie, and I really enjoyed watching it. I had so much fun time in the movie theater watching this movie, and yeah. Number 4, Earth to Echo and The Book of Life. I had to put both of these on the list. These are both such good movies. They are both funny. They both got great characters. Earth to Echo has some great CGI. Book of Life has some great animation. These are both amazing movies. And I'm running out of spaces, and I can't put them in their own spots, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit and put them both at number 4 because I think they're both equally awesome as well. I saw them both once. I wish I saw them both twice, especially Earth to Echo, because these movies are such great spectacles, and just I want to watch them over and over again. Number 3, My Little Pony Equestria Girls, Rainbow Rocks. The best movie in the Equestria Girls series. It has some of the best music out of the Equestria Girls series. The animation is a little bit more better, and there are great facial expressions. The story is a bigger improvement. We have what I believe to be some really good villains. Like I said, the songs are great. And basically, it's not a lot of people asked for the first My Little Pony Equestria Girls movie, but when this one came along, they definitely said this one was better, and I definitely agree. I don't hate the first one, but this one is still really good. Number 2 is A Brony Tale. I never thought I would put a documentary on my top 12 movie lists, but this one I loved so much. It gave a lot of stuff that I love to hear about the fandom. We got like scientists' perspectives on the Brony fandom, and it's just, I love it so much. And we get to follow one of the voice actors from the show in this documentary. It's so much fun to watch, and I remember sitting down and watching it. I loved it. It was so much fun to just sit and watch and enjoy. And yeah. Now, before we get to the number one best movie of 2014, I have a few honorable and dishonorable mentions. Honorable mention number one, NonStop. I really like this movie, but I really just didn't know where to put it on the list. That's the main reason why it's just an honorable mention. Honorable mention number two, Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy was a good movie, but I've only seen it once, and I know there are movies on the list that I've only seen once, but this one, honestly, I don't even know what to say why it's not on the list. It's a good movie, but I feel like it's not one that I was excited about when I heard about it because I didn't go see it. And when this came out, I still wasn't really big into the Marvel movies and stuff, but I still liked it. I wasn't as big on it when it came out, so yeah. Honorable mention number three, How to Train Your Dragon 2. I really liked this movie. And mainly the reason why it's not on the list is because I just forgot about it for a minute and forgot to put it on the list. But it's a really good movie. I very much recommend it. Honorable mention number four, Maleficent. Wow. This movie was a shock that it was as good as it was. I know some people didn't like it. I can't say a lot of people. I was about to say a lot of people, but I can't say a lot of people didn't like it. But I understand people didn't like it. But I actually rather enjoyed it. I like seeing movies where it takes a villain's perspective. It's a very interesting look at the movie, and it is very nice. And it's good to see a whole twist on the whole film. Honorable mention number 5. SpiderMan, the Amazing SpiderMan 2. This movie I loved in every way. Yes, there was flaws. Yes, there was a few things that didn't make sense. But it was such a thrill to watch in theaters. It was an emotional roller coaster, especially around the end of the film. But I really enjoyed it. Honorable mention number 6. The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies. This movie was really good. I cannot lie. I'm not a huge fan into Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but this movie, I loved it. It was emotional. It had great action. It had some good CGI. It had some good storytelling. It was a good movie. Honorable mention number 7, Annie. I actually really loved this movie. To be honest, I just forgot to put it on the list. Now let's check out some dishonorable mentions. Dishonorable mention number 1, Think Like a Man 2. I saw it, I did not think much of it. Dishonorable mention number 2, Ouija, or however you say it. I just honestly thought this movie was stupid, and it was just dumb. Dishonorable mention number 3, The Penguins of Madagascar. Now, this movie's not a dishonorable mention because I didn't like it. It was just very forgettable. Dishonorable mention number 4, Let's Be Cops. I didn't hate this movie. I just thought it was stupid. Dishonorable mention number 5, Planes, Fire, and Rescue. Was just boring. Honorable mention number 5, Annabelle. It just wasn't scary, and I just didn't like it. Dishonorable mention number 6, Blended. Just not the best Adam Sandler movie. Dishonorable mention number 7, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Didn't hate it, it just could have been better. Dishonorable mention number 8, Dumb and Dumber 2. It just gets more annoying the more you watch it. Dishonorable mention number 8, Godzilla. My main complaint is, there wasn't enough of Godzilla in the movie. And number 1 is the Lego Movie. This was obviously my favorite movie of 2014. I loved this movie. It was completely hilarious. It had a good story. It had a good message. It had awesome voice acting. It had awesome characters. There were a whole bunch of Easter eggs you could see in the movie. It was just such a good movie. And I loved it. I saw this movie literally 10 times in theaters. And I was so glad I did because I loved it that much. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this top 12. If you did, please tap the like button down below, subscribe, leave me a comment, and link to my Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, Tumblr, Dailymotion, Twitch, and Musical.ly will all be linked down in the description below. And do not forget to hit the notification button so you'll be notified when I upload videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!